The Galactic Council Hall was filled with light, noise, and the scent of alien perfumes. Leaders from over 40 species had gathered for the monthly meeting. They sat in floating chairs, speaking through translators, smiling politely. But under those smiles, everyone felt one thing tension. At the center of the hall, the news was announced. An entire colony has been destroyed, said the Zarni speaker. No survivors. No distress signal. It vanished. Whispers ran through the chamber. Everyone looked at each other, pretending to be surprised. No one knows who did it, the speaker continued. No warship seen. No debris left behind. Only melted stone and burned trees. The representative of the Zenari laughed softly. Perhaps the colony was weak. The others chuckled. Some even smiled. Only one person didn't react. It was the human. He stood at the edge of the chamber, silent, hands behind his back. He wore Earth's dark diplomatic uniform, simple but sharp. His face was calm. Too calm. A council speaker finally turned toward him. "Representative of Earth," she said. "Do you have a response?" The human stepped forward. His name was Commander Rex. Not a politician, not a general. Just a quiet man chosen for his ability to stay calm. He looked around the chamber and said only one thing. "This is your last warning." The smiles disappeared. "We came to these stars in peace," he continued. "We followed your rules. We helped build this council. We fought beside you against threats. But now, you let one of our colonies die, and no one cares." The chamber remained still. Even the air seemed to freeze. If one more drop of human blood is spilled, one more child burned, Earth will not speak again. Rex paused. His voice became even softer. "We will act." Then he turned and walked away. No threats. No anger. Just a simple message. The council speaker tried to smile. Surely he doesn't mean. But the rest of the room stayed quiet. Because deep down, everyone knew something about humans. They were friendly, curious, helpful, until they weren't. Back on Earth, news of the colony's destruction spread like fire. The media called it a tragedy. The military called it betrayal. But the people said nothing. Factories turned on at night. Old ships were pulled from deep storage. Silent men and women, dressed in black, entered underground bunkers. The stars had forgotten what human rage looked like. They were about to remember. A faraway moon. A group of young alien officers were training when one of them laughed. "Humans talk big, but they won't do anything." His friend nodded. "They follow rules too much." Then the sky turned dark. A giant shadow moved across. The stars without making a sound. It was a Terran warship. No lights, no signals, just a single word burned onto its hull. Enough. The young officers dropped their weapons and ran out at the Galactic Council. Emergency meetings began. Everyone argued. Humans can't declare war. They are just one planet. We outnumber them. But someone whispered, "We made them angry." The word sent a chill down every spine. Because across the galaxy, stories had been told, old stories, tales of what happened before. Earth joined the council. Tales of wars ended in days. Tales of planets reduced to ash when humans felt betrayed. Back then, no one believed those were true. Now, they weren't so sure. In a cold and quiet chamber on Earth, Commander Rex stood before a single screen. A young officer asked, "Sir, will they listen?" Rex didn't smile. He just stared at the stars. "They've already made their choice," he said. "Now they'll see what happens when humans stop being kind." The officer nodded. "Should I prepare the fleet?" Rex closed his eyes. For a moment, he looked tired. Then he opened them, and they were cold. "No," he said. "Not yet. First, let them feel the silence. Asterisk for 3 weeks. The galaxy. Heard nothing from Earth. No trade ships. No messages. No answers. It was as if Earth had vanished into the shadows. The Council tried to contact them. No reply. All human colonies shut their gates. Earth's embassies closed their doors. Even there, allies were left in silence. The galaxy called it the quiet. At first, many were relieved. No more human drama. One senator laughed, but that relief didn't last, because something else began. In a small mining station on the edge of Sector 9, a pirate crew found something strange. The stations. Lights were on, power flowing, tools working, but not a single worker. No blood. No bodies. Just one message on every screen. You touched our children. The pirates didn't laugh. Not this time. They ran back to their ship, but found it melted from the inside out. No explosion. Just silence and smoke. Only one pirate was left alive. He didn't speak again. Ever. In another system, a wealthy alien merchant bragged about buying human tech from black markets. That night, his mansion caught fire. Not from bombs. From inside the walls, he was found clutching a human teddy bear. Burned into his wall was a short message. This was not your toy. The message wasn't signed. It didn't have to be. Everyone knew. Panic spread across outer colonies. Asked for guards. Merchants stopped buying human gear. Even the black market dried up, because the galaxy realized something horrifying. Earth wasn't launching a war. It wasn't sending fleets. It was sending a message. And that message came, one by one, silent, precise, personal. The Council held a secret meeting. Inside a dark chamber, leaders whispered, "This isn't war. This is revenge." One elder looked pale. "And it's only the beginning." Another asked, "Should we reach out?" "No," said a deep voice. It was the representative of the Tolar race, a species known for strength and pride. "Warned us. We didn't listen. Now we face their anger." Someone laughed nervously. "They're just humans." The Tolar representative turned to him slowly. So was the man who ended the Gromax War in one day. The laughter died. In a hidden hangar. On a moon near Earth, Commander Rex watched workers prepare an old Terran prototype, sleek, dark, silent. It had no name, only a symbol. An Earth child holding a broken flower. An officer approached. "We've had 47 incidents confirmed. Silent strikes, no witnesses." Rex didn't look away. Good. Let them keep guessing. Let them wonder which act started this. Which name triggered it? The officer nodded. "And after that?" Rex spoke quietly. "Then we remind them that mercy was Earth's first gift." He paused. "And its last." Meanwhile, in a galactic school on a peaceful moon, young students studied Earth's history. One curious alien child asked her teacher, "Why are humans so quiet now?" The teacher smiled weakly. "Because they're remembering." Remembering. What? The teacher looked at the stars through the window and whispered, "What they were before we called them friends." In the cold silence of space, something new appeared. A red line. At first, it was just a visual glitch near the outer rim of the Zira belt. Sensors couldn't explain it. Star maps didn't show anything. But as more scanners picked it up, the line grew longer and then thicker. It moved slowly, cutting across the stars like a scar. No one knew what it was, until one day it stopped above a pirate stronghold. And then the stronghold vanished. No sound. No warning. Just red light followed by darkness. Word spread fast. The sky turned red, and then they were gone, said a merchant. Just gone, like they never existed. Some thought it was a weapon. Others called it a curse. But everyone agreed on one thing. The humans were behind it. A few brave alien ships tried to follow the red sky. They vanished too. No debris, no signal, just nothing. The Then came a video. One clip, sent to every major communication hub across the galaxy. It was short. A human child, maybe 6 years old, smiling and playing with blocks. In the background. 2. Adults laughed. And the image flickered. The same child crying, pulling their mother's lifeless arm in a ruined colony. Then a sentence appeared. You made us angry. The message disappeared before it could be traced. No voice. No threat. Just pure cold silence. The Galactic Council called another emergency session. This time, no one smiled. Even the leaders of the proudest warrior races didn't speak loudly. Because now they were afraid. They had seen wars, battles, even superweapons, but never this. Destruction. ERSURE. Whole systems were blinking out without war declarations. Without warning. It was like the universe itself was punishing anyone who had hurt. Inside a secret council chamber, a recording was played. A whisper captured from a dying ship near the red sky. We thought they would shout, but they didn't. They just watched. Another whisper followed. We called them soft. Silence, then screaming, then silence again. The recording ended. Meanwhile, in the quiet control room of a hidden Earth station, Commander Rex stood in front of a table. On it, holograms of targeted sectors glowed red. A woman beside him asked, "Is this justice or vengeance?" Rex didn't answer. She asked again, "When will it stop?" He looked at her. When they remember. Remember what? That kindness has a limit. On a peaceful trade world named Alista Prime, a celebration was happening. Alista had always stayed neutral, selling goods to all species. Even during wars, its leaders believed they were safe until the sky turned red over. Then, not at first, people cheered. They thought it was a show. Then power went out. Then gravity failed. Then screams began. The next day, Alista Prime wasn't on the map anymore. Where it had been, there was only drifting ash. Now the galaxy was truly afraid, not because Earth had declared war, but because they hadn't. There were no demands. No peace talks. No lists of conditions. Just red skies. And silence. Some aliens began hiding. Some deleted old war records. Others fled to uninhabited systems. One alien trader burned every human artifact he owned. But it didn't matter, because in one forgotten starport, scratched into a wall in what looked like fingernails, were 3 words. We saw everything. In a council outpost, an alien child asked their father, "Why is everyone afraid of Earth?" The father knelt down and whispered, "Because they were kind." The child blinked. "But isn't that good?" The father nodded slowly. It was. He looked up at the red sky. But we broke that kindness. The galaxy was no longer asking what was happening. Now they were asking, who's next? The red sky had become a symbol of quiet death. It didn't matter how big your army was. It didn't matter how far your world was hidden. If you had hurt humans, if you had touched their people, you were already on the list. No warnings. No peace offers. Just the soundless storm moving system by system. And no one knew where it would stop. In a research center on Turith 7. Top minds tried to decode the red sky's energy. It's not a weapon. One scientist whispered, "It's art." "What do you mean?" her assistant asked. "It's human rage, painted in space." Before they could finish scanning, the lights cut out. Their final report was just 2 words. It's coming. One by one, planets began to panic. Shops closed. Allies betrayed each other, hoping to survive. Old empires offered Earth credits, trade, even slaves. Earth didn't reply. Ships filled with gifts were turned around. Some vanished mid-space. The galaxy learned something terrifying. You can't negotiate with someone who's already said goodbye. In the Council's war hall, Arguments broke out. They must be stopped. With what? Words? We should offer tribute. No. We must hide. Then the room fell silent. Because on the holoscreen, a strange thing appeared. It wasn't a ship. It was a simple image. A handprint, human-size. Burned into the surface. Of a moon. 5 fingers. One palm. And beneath it, carved deep, we remember. The fear became personal. Alien families whispered stories to their children at night. If you see red in the sky, don't look up. Hide your human toys. Don't say Earth's name too loud. Children started drawing stars with red crayon, then crying in their sleep. No one told them to. They just felt it. In a quiet bar on the edge of council space, an old alien captain poured a drink with shaking hands. You know, he said to the young soldier beside him, I once saw a human cry when a flower was crushed. The soldier laughed nervously. And now? The captain stared at the dark window. Now they're crushing empires, and not even blinking. Meanwhile, back on Earth, no celebrations were held. No music, no flags, just rows and rows of silent rooms. In one chamber, a screen showed a long list names of colonies, ships, outposts. Beside each name was a red dot. The next room showed no maps. Just one sentence glowing softly. Make them feel what we felt. On a floating station near Sector 12, a group of council scientists attempted something new. They created a message, an apology, crafted in all major languages. It was soft, emotional, honest. They launched it into deep space. It reached Earth. No reply. But a day later, their station's clocks began to spin backward. No damage. No physical attack, just time itself. Bending, one of them fell to his knees and cried. They're not just angry anymore. They're playing with us. Rumors grew. Humans have made contact with something ancient. They've awakened machines that think in pain. Earth has no leaders now, only ghosts in uniform. No one knew what was true, and that made it worse. Because humans didn't need to fight anymore. They had already won. They had made the galaxy feel something far worse than war. Uncertainty. A council assistant whispered to her superior. Why won't Earth speak to us? The elder didn't answer at first. He stared out at the stars. Then, finally, he spoke. Because the moment they speak, someone will die. A cold silence gripped the galaxy, but that silence was broken when a message arrived, direct, brief and final. We are coming to the council. No threats, no conditions, just presence. The council panicked. Emergency defenses were activated. Armies deployed. Entire fleets were placed on alert. Some begged for Earth to delay. Others planned to run, but none of it mattered, because Earth had made up its mind. And when humanity decided to move, the stars shifted. The day came. A single human ship entered the skies above the Galactic Council station. No escorts, no weapons raised, no music or pride. Just silence. And it was more terrifying than 1,000 warships. The station's security teams waited, shaking. Their scanners couldn't read the ship. Its surface reflected everything except light. It was blacker than space itself. Inside the council hall, tension was a living thing. Every delegate sat frozen. Then the doors opened, and one human stepped inside. Not a soldier, not a king, just a quiet man in a gray coat. Commander Rex. He carried a small datapad in one hand. His boots echoed on the polished floor. He didn't bow. He didn't greet anyone. He just stood at the center and said, You forgot what you owed us. A few council members tried to speak. Earth. We didn't know. We offered aid. We didn't authorize. Rex raised one hand. The hall went silent again. Then, from his datapad, he opened a file. Images flickered in the air above him. A destroyed human farm. children hiding in metal crates, a woman's hand reaching out, frozen in space. Each image burned into the air like a scar. Rex's voice remained calm. "These are not war crimes," he said. "These are the results of your silence." One of the elder delegates wept. Another stood and screamed, "We didn't do this." Rex turned to him. "You let it happen." And the way he said it, it crushed the air in the room. No shout, no emotion, just the kind of truth no one can argue with. Then, from his coat pocket, Rex pulled out a simple object, a child's shoe. Scorched. He placed it gently on the council floor. "This was found next to a crater," he said. "No body, no name, just this." He looked up at the hall. "You can keep your systems, keep your riches, keep your words." He stepped back. "But this is your bill." No one moved, not a single alien, not a single word, because they all saw it now. The humans weren't here to ask. They weren't here to fight. They were here to end the debt, and the cost wasn't in money or land. It was in fear, in memory, in the burning guilt of a child's last breath. Some council members fled after that meeting. Others resigned. A few vanished, rumored to have begged Earth for mercy in private. But none were given answers, because Earth wasn't interested in words anymore. They were building something else. New law across the stars. And in the center of it was one rule: harm no human. Ever break that law, and you would disappear. Not in war, but in silence. On a forgotten mining world, a small girl looked up at the red sky. Her father stood beside her. "Is the danger over now?" she asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he whispered, "No one's brave enough to test Earth again." The galaxy did not fall that day. It changed. The stars still burned. Trade, ships still moved. Meetings still happened. But underneath it all, behind every smile, every deal, every peace talk, was a single silent thought shared across 1,000 species. Do not anger the humans. Earth never spoke again at the council. They didn't need to. Their message had been carved into history, not with fire, not with armies, but with memory. The kind that wakes you up at night, cold with sweat. The kind that makes you check the skies for red. In quiet corners of space, legends began to form. Tales of planets erased in a blink. Of messages that simply said, "You forgot us." Of empty cities, untouched by fire, but drained of sound and life. And always, the red sky on a small farming. Moon, a young alien boy, asked his mother, "Will the humans come here?" His mother knelt, touching his face. "Not if we're kind," she whispered. "But what if we're not?" She paused, looked at the sky, and said softly, "Then we pray they never notice." In secret, powerful empires destroyed their old war plans against Earth. Museums removed trophies taken from early human battles. Slavery rings that once targeted human colonies? Gone overnight. Criminals who whispered of hurting Earth-born children? Vanished without trial, without trace. Everyone understood the new law. Not written on paper, but carved into fear. And Earth? It grew quiet again. Factories slowed. Warships returned home. Commanders like Rex disappeared from view. Some believed retired, others still watching from the shadows. No celebrations were held. No monuments built, because the humans didn't see it as victory. They saw it as necessary. Inside a quiet chamber on Earth, a single AI processed millions of alien transmissions each day. It ignored most, but every once in a while, it would stop, read one. Store it, because sometimes apologies came too late, and forgiveness was no longer on Earth's menu. In one far-off sector, a new species made first contact with the galaxy. They asked, "Who are the most powerful among you?" An old diplomat chuckled nervously. He didn't point to ships. He didn't name empires. He simply said, "The ones who don't speak anymore." Years passed. Children were raised with bedtime warnings, not stories. Be kind, be fair, and never lie to a human. Because kindness may have built peace, but it was human anger that protected it. And now the galaxy finally understood something they should have learned long ago. The most dangerous silence is the one after Earth stops talking. In the deep black, a probe floated past an old Terran ship, its engines cold, its name unreadable, but scratched into its surface were 6 quiet words. We were kind. You broke that. The probe turned and fled. Asterisk.